Well, if I look at my top and bottom line, it's dramatically better than it was last year, which obviously I'm very happy about. And I have been asking various other suppliers and also customers, and generally I do get a sense, at least in Europe, that there's a good pickup in the business. And globally, places like America and Japan, I'd say, are in a similar place as Europe. And some places like Asia, really, and Middle East, of course, haven't really been hit by the recession in the same way that we have. I guess what I would say, though, is that for Europe, probably Southern Europe, I'm still a little bit nervous about the economies there. And so I think I'm being cautious. What I'm expecting is stability for the next 6 months or so. And the macroeconomic data suggests that probably some much healthier growth is going to come maybe in the middle of 2011. So that's my expectation.
So there seems to be some positive notes there. So you're quite optimistic about the future.
Yes, I am optimistic. But one thing I would say that's happened during the recession is that a lot of our customers have kind of changed their buying patterns. They've hardened up. They've got sharper about the way they're doing business with us. And, that's not going to go back. And so things are never going to be the same. And so one of the things that I've been reflecting on is that we really do need to change, be agile with the market and the customer. So frankly, although business has really picked up, I think we have to change. We've got to find new ways of doing business. And I'm particularly keen to find new ways of selling value, including doing a really strong job of describing business benefits, return on investment, rather than just technology benefits. And so it's a kind of different way of selling that we need to move to respond to the changes that have come during the recession.
So changing the way you work, has that been difficult, adapting to a different style of operating?
It's not easy. I mean, it has been challenging, partly because I regard it as a culture change, and changing behaviour is never easy. We're a big product manufacturing company, and we are shifting to be a solutions and services company, although absolutely we'll continue to make products. And that kind of change is something we've been migrating to for a little while. And I feel the pace of it accelerating now, and we're very serious about doing it. But there are some challenges in that go with our own behaviour, with our customers and other suppliers' behaviour. So I think there's still some way to go.
You're back at IBC this year after you weren't here last year. How do you think IBC will help your business?
Yeah, I'm being careful about saying we're back at IBC, because I think we'll take a decision each year. What we've done is we've realised what IBC is good at, and we've also realised there are some things that we feel we can do more effectively other ways. So, for example, product showcasing is actually very difficult at a show like this because the stand's very busy. And so we've started doing that with road shows and actually getting much closer to customers. And we can demonstrate a clearer return on investment for doing something like that. What IBC is really good for is getting across kind of key messages, things like 3D leadership and our shift to solutions and services. IBC is a great way of doing that, and also getting that test of the temperature of the market, the customer contact that you get at IBC. I missed that last year. And so I think certainly this year we feel like we've got some very key messages that we do want to get across, and IBC is a good way of doing it. And I think IBC will help us to kind of get that temperature in the market and to get our messages across. But next year we'll look at it again. So I wouldn't regard it as we're back forever. Actually, we're going to take a view each year, and we'll run it as part of our Power of Images program, which is these road shows and workshops. And each year, as part of that, we'll consider whether IBC is a fit or not.
Where would you say most of your trade actually comes from? Is it the Far East?
Well, my business is a European business, and so Europe continues to be one of the biggest regions globally for Sony. So in my business, there's a kind of fairly predictable, the big three: UK, France, Germany, and so on, as you would expect. There is big business in the US, although the growth there, a bit like in Western Europe, is less strong in the traditional areas. And then the real growth for Sony is coming in markets like China, generally Asia, and Middle East is still a big growth market.
Are you excited about HD and 3D? They seem to be emerging at the moment. Do you think that's the future?
Yeah, I mean, HD for us, almost 100% of our sales are HD now, and so for me it's become a standard. And actually, if people haven't moved to HD, it's generally because they're waiting for their investment cycle, because frankly now it's not really any more expensive to go to HD. So to me that's become standard. 3D I am excited about, and it's hard to express, but being part of Sony Sony really does get 3D, you know, the kind of movies. I get to go to 3D premieres now, which I very much enjoy. The games, you know, even Sony Music doing music videos, and, you know, the Blu-ray printing factory is doing 3D now. And consumer, obviously, Vios, Bravias, there were things at the IFA show last week in 3D. So 3D is a kind of DNA for the whole of Sony. So that is an incredible place to be. And this year, of course, we did those World Cup matches with HBS and FIFA. So 3D, yes, I'm very excited about. That's a very long play. You know, frankly, my cinema business is growing right now in 3D. The 3D broadcast business is obviously going to take longer to take foot. But yes, that's exciting for me. And I am excited about service and solutions because that's where my growth is going to come from.
And finally, what can we expect from Sony in the future? Anything you can reveal exclusively to us?
Well, what I'm hoping people will come away from IBC with is, wow, Sony looked different. So, you know, I think you can expect some changes, the shift into solutions and services. And it's an easy thing to say, but we're really talking about listening to our customers, listening to the market, anticipating trends, working collaboratively with other partners to do complex integration pieces, consultancy, those kind of things. So I think, you know, that's a shift that's been coming for a while, but that's going to accelerate. And then we do still have some great hardware plans as well. So we're watching especially things like the camera market. There's some new competitors emerging. It's quite an interesting market, and I think you can expect to see a few things coming out of Sony there too.